One. Hey guys, it's Baron J67, and I had recently got back from Summer Games Fest, the whole festivities. Shout out to the Gorilla Collective, shout out to Summer Games Fest, Play Days, and all the other stuff that I actually got to partake in, and it was pretty cool. But I want to jump straight to it and just talk real quick about what I experienced with watching the Monster Hunter gameplay. Monster Hunter Wilds gameplay live, and it was actually really cool. I got some notes, some things that stood out. So for those who didn't know, you have a brand new mount. That was the first cool thing that I seen, which I think was clear in the trailers, is you have a new mount, and it's called a secret or sacred. It's spelled like Seikret or something like that. No, thank you. It's pronounced sacred, but it's sacred. I don't know why I stuck on that so long. But what makes the mount so dang cool is it allows you to store a weapon on there, so that you now have two weapons on you that you can swap from while playing. So that makes it super duper cool. So you can definitely expand your arsenal while out in the field fighting. The map is 2 times bigger than previous Monster Hunter maps. It is huge. It is ridiculous. And speaking of the map, what's also super cool is the fact that there's no loading screens. So normally you guys know how when you would play Monster Hunter and you'd have to go to the base, you have to pick your mission or your hunt, and you load out into the world, and then you're there for a certain amount of time. Well, no. You are able to go back and forth between your base and the field at any given time, and you can seriously just hunt. And they actually did show us that. So what was cool was there's no loading areas. I'm trying to go through you get to build a temporary camp. So there's this camp that you can build a camp to access your stuff, to cook food and eat, which another thing, the cooking, as usual with Capcom games, especially Monster Hunter, looks top tier, looks amazing. They definitely that RE engine is working like overtime, and it's definitely shining with that. Cooking looks amazing. The ghillie suit is there. So there's major weather changes. There's a night and day cycle, and then there's major weather changes. So during the demo time that we got to watch, and shout out to Capcom, thank you again. We actually got to see them. It went from night to day. It had a crazy storm roll in where there was actual lightning hitting the ground, hitting the environment, hitting the monsters. What else did we get to see? Of course, giant, crazy cinematic style moments where you actually get to see the monsters fighting each other. You get to see a bunch of different traps in the world. But for me, the things that absolutely stood out is the fact that you get to stay out in the world and the lack of loading screens. It just feels, this Monster Hunter Wilds, from what we saw, if that was the build that came out, it'd be amazing, right? Like, there was very little polishing issues. There was very little frame drops. It was a top-tier presentation, and it was truly an open-world experience, and it was super cool. But for me, the openness of the world and the lack of loading screens, that is an absolute game changer. I'm trying to think what else. What else stood out? Setting up camp and being able to cook on the go. So basically just being able to be out in the field as long as you want. That is a huge thing, because that was something that always caused a bit of hiccups while playing Monster Hunter for me, was that whole thing of like, we go on the hunt, we get the hunt, and then all of a sudden the monster you're hunting is almost dead, your timer's running out, and then all of a sudden another monster comes by that you would like to fight or that you've been looking for and that has the material you're looking for, and it's like, oh, well, I'll come back. And it's like, well, now you don't have to come back. Now it is just an open experience, and you can set up shop in the field, and the world is constantly going without you, and the weather is evolving, and it just feels like a natural progression to Monster Hunter. And then the mount being such a critical part of your arsenal, and being able to have multiple weapons on your mount, I think it's just going to be a super cool experience. So I think Monster Hunter Wilds is going to have a solid chance at being. It's going to be a Game of the Year contender for sure. It really will. It's definitely gonna be there. It's gonna shine. Capcom has another big hit on their hand, and the multiplayer. So they didn't show multiplayer. They set up. They had a thing set up where they were able to summon like NPCs to come in and fight, because of course the game is not active yet. But thank you again to Capcom for giving us an opportunity to see this behind closed doors. It was super dope. I know I'm not doing it justice by explaining it. My explanation is not doing it justice. But just overall, once again, quick roundup. Open world, seamless transitions into going from the base camp and mission select to being out in the field. Traps galore. You can use your environment like crazy, whether it's weather, whether it's rock, pulling down boulders from the ceiling, sand traps, exploding thunder bugs. Like, there's just so many things you can do to inflict damage against the monsters you're hunting. And I'm just ready to get into the endless loop of harvesting parts and crafting. I think this is going to be really dope. But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, no official release date. It's got a 2025 window, but I think whenever it launches, it's going to be a Game of the Year contender. But yes, Baron J67, LV1 Gaming. Make sure to check out LV1Gaming.com. And yeah, like and subscribe if you want to support us, because I know we just got back from Summer Games Fest and we have PAX West coming up. If you want to help us out, you can consider joining our membership program here at YouTube. Consider PayPal, any other way you can support us, Patreon, all of that, because it helps keep the lights on, and then it helps us get out and create more content. Much love to you guys. Thank you to all the channel members and the Patreons. Much love and peace.